students, this is Vasudev, TGT Bioscience from Tirunelveli, Khammam region. Before entering into the session, let me ask you a few questions. Children, do you eat same kind of food every day? I don't think so. You eat different kinds of food every day. Yes sir? Yes. Why do you eat food? Yeah, your answer is for energy. Yes, for doing any activity you need energy. Now I am teaching and now I am giving a lecture. I need energy. You are listening to the lecture. You need energy. Cameraman is taking my video. He need energy. So from where do we get energy? Yes, from food we get energy. In the food nutrients are present. If we take the nutrients we get energy. Now let me ask another question, children. What are the sources of food? Where do we get food from? Yes, answer is correct. We get most of our food from plant and we also depend on animals for food. Observe the slide, children. Yes, there are different sources of food from plant. Cereals, fruits, vegetables, oils, etc. And from animals also we get milk, meat, eggs, etc. My question here is, why do we depend on animals for food? Why can't we depend on plants only for food? Yes, for this growing population, the food from only plants is not sufficient. We need animals food also. We require animal protein also. That's why we depend on animals for food. So today our topic is production of food from animals. Yes. So we depend on animals for food. Yes. Since long time, early man used to domesticate animals, not only for food, but for agriculture, for transportation, for various purposes, for protection also. Now we too are taming many animals to get food from them. Children, now let us discuss about animal husbandry. What is animal husbandry? Yes, children, now observe this slide. Yes, you can see in the picture. Providing food, shelter and breeding of animals is called as animal husbandry. That means we have to give food to animals, we have to give shelter to animals, and we have to give protection and we have to allow the animals to breed. What is the meaning of breeding? Yes, mating and production of offsprings by animals is called as breeding. So this is the concept of animal husbandry. So if we take care of all these aspects, we can get food from animals and also we can get other products. In today's class, we will discuss the different types of animal husbandry, starting from cattle rearing, poultry, apiculture, fisheries. Yes. So first let's jump into cattle rearing. Observe the slide, children. Yeah. In the pictures you will see two pictures here are seen in the PPT. So in one picture the cattle are rearing and the other picture the cattle are kept in the shed. In villages usually they appoint a person to look after the cattle and he takes the cattle to the field and he rears them and the villagers pay to them. But nowadays, most of the cattle are reared in the sheds. There only the fodder is given. What is the meaning of fodder, children? Fodder means food. Food which is given to animals is called as fodder. That is hay, green grass, or dry grass, oil seed cakes of groundnut, all these things comes under fodder. So, generally nowadays the farmers are rearing these animals in the sheds. And my dear children, in this cattle rearing, so I told you cattle. What is cattle first? What is the meaning of cattle? Yes, the group of animals like buffaloes, bisons, cows, etc., which are reared for milk or meat are called as cattle. So we are rearing cattle for milk or meat or any other products. So my dear students, in order to rear cattle, we have to look after the health of the cattle also. We have to make sure the sheds are clean. And we have to make sure that the mosquitoes should not enter the shed. And we have to also make sure that they do not get any diseases. You know, they too get diseases like us. Galikuntu, foot and mouth disease is most common in cows and buffaloes. And Nattala Vyadi, worm infections is most common in sheep and goat. So we have, and many more viral and parasitic infections are common in this cattle. So we have to consult a veterinary doctor. Who is veterinary doctor, children? Yes, veterinary doctor is a doctor who looks after the animals. So we have to consult that veterinary doctor and we have to take care of the health of the cattle, and we have to give them vaccination. So these are all the steps in cattle rearing. So we get most milk and meat from this cattle. Now children, observe the next slide. Milk production. Next slide is milk production. Yes, milk production. Observe the slide. Yes. By observing this pie chart, my question is, where do we get milk, most of the milk from our country? Yes, we get most of the milk from cows, not buffaloes, children. You think that we get milk from buffaloes, but we get most of the milk from cows. And we even get milk from camel, donkey, sheep also. And they are also having lots of importance. So, from this chart, we came to know that most of the milk is produced by cows in our country. And my dear students, why milk? What is the importance of milk? What is present in milk? Yes, milk is a protein rich food. It is having most essential vitamins and minerals, and it is also having calcium, phosphorus, potassium. This calcium makes your bones and teeth strong. That's why our society is also providing milk for you to drink. Children, now don't say I don't like milk. You have to like milk because it is a complete food. It gives you all the nutrients, children. Right. So now, from where do we get this milk production? Milk. See, let us see the next slide. Yeah, you can see the foreign varieties of cattle and local varieties of cattle. So, most of the, I told you already, most of the milk we get from cows. Local varieties, traditional varieties gives around 2 to 5 liters of milk per day. But in the slide you can see foreign varieties like Holstein from Denmark and Jersey from England, they give around 25 liters of milk per day. And local varieties such as Red Sindhi and Sahiwal give some less liters of milk. So what is the difference between these local and foreign varieties? Yes, these local varieties of cattle are resistant to diseases. But whereas these foreign varieties will give more milk. This is the main difference between foreign and local varieties. But nowadays farmers, what they are doing, you know? They are breeding this local variety with this foreign variety, and we are getting around, crossbreeds are produced, and we are getting around 8 to 20 liters of milk per day. So this is about this cattle, foreign varieties of cattle and local varieties of cattle. Next one. Next. Children, next let us discuss about pasteurization. Have you seen a milk packet, children? Yes, this is a milk packet. On the back side of the milk packet is it is written as pasteurized milk. What is the meaning of pasteurization? Why the milk should be pasteurized? Why the name is pasteurization? These are all my questions. Yes, pasteurization is nothing but the milk should be boiled at 63 degrees Celsius. Listen to me carefully, children. The milk should be boiled at 63 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, and immediately it is chilled to 10 degrees Celsius below temperature and stored and cooled in packets. This process is called as pasteurization. This was discovered or invented by Louis Pasteur. That's why it is named as pasteurization. By this process, the milk can be preserved for a long time, and the milk can be used after a few days also. This is about pasteurization. When we discuss about milk, we should discuss about a famous personality, that is Verghese Kurian. Professor Verghese Kurian. He is the milkman of India. He is the milkman of India. He is called as a father of white revolution in India because he contributed in many ways in increasing the milk production in our country. He proposed many innovative activities to produce hybrid varieties of cows, buffaloes, milk preservation, storage, and many more. And my dear children, under the scheme Operation Flood, it is not Operation Blood, children, it is Operation Flood. Under the scheme Operation Flood, the milk production in India has been increased very much. So this is about white revolution, and the father of white revolution is Mr. Verghese Kurian. And under the which scheme the milk production is increased means that is under Operation Flood. Yes. So we have discussed about milk production, pasteurization, and white revolution. Now let me ask you: do we get only milk and meat from cattle? I don't think so. We get other products also. What are the other uses of cattle? What are the other uses of cattle? The cattle excreta, the cattle waste is used as manure, children. For agricultural crops it is used as manure. You know Panchagavya, you know Gomutra. This Gomutra is also used as Ayurvedic medicine. This Panchagavya is used in the fields to get good yield. So even the excreta of cattle is used as manure. And my dear students, the bones of animals are used in fertilizer industry. And you know, my dear children, we get leather from the animals which is used in leather industry, by which we can prepare belts and shoes and many more things, bags also. And my dear children, these other uses of cattle include biogas production. Biogas is produced. And many more uses are there, and medicinal values are also there for this cattle, and even they are used in agriculture and also transportation. This is about cattle rearing. Now let us enter into next topic, that is, observe the slide children, that is poultry. What is it children? Poultry. What is poultry children? If you observe the slide, production and rearing of hens on a large scale. So we rear hens for their eggs and meat. So in a large scale, if you will rear that hens, it is called as poultry, my dear children. In the picture you can see there are two types of poultry farms. One is broiler and the other one is layer. One is broiler and the other one is layer. I think most of you like this broiler chicken very much, and this broiler is used as meat. It is especially rare for its meat. And my dear children, this layer is reared for its eggs. There are two types of poultry farms. One is broiler and the other one is layer. Broiler is reared for meat and layer is reared for eggs, children. So, and my dear children, there are many varieties of hen. Local varieties of hen are there. Asil, Kadaknad, Chittagong, Longshan, Bursa. These are all the local traditional varieties, children. These are very good for hatching purpose. And my dear children, there are foreign varieties too. Rhode Island Red, White Plymouth, Anoka, and all these are foreign varieties of hen, children. My dear children, so these hen are used for meat and eggs also. Yes, milk, meat and eggs. Before going to what is eggs? Eggs. So what is the importance of eggs? Egg is a highly proteinous food. It is an inexpensive, it is very cheap cost. We can get good quality of protein from it, good quantity of protein from it. It is having lots of vitamins. It is having vitamin D, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and it is also having minerals like zinc, iron, copper. There is a slogan from NECC. What is NECC, children? National Egg Coordination Committee. What is the full form of NECC, children? National Egg Coordination Committee. The slogan is, if you eat an egg daily, you will stay healthy. That is the reason in most of our government schools and society schools they are giving eggs for you, because eggs are having lots of nutrients, children. It is a good source of protein. And even from poultry we get hens, eggs and meat, and even the litter, the waste of hen is also used as a manure in the fields, children. And they too will get some diseases like cattle, they too will get some diseases. Poultry also, the hens also suffer from some diseases like fowl cholera, colibacillosis, botulism, etc. So poultry is also affected with diseases, many bacterial and viral diseases. We have to take care of their health. We have to keep those sheds clean and neat, and we have to give them the proper nutritious food, and we have to give them the good ventilation also to get good quantity of eggs or meat. So this is about the poultry. So next let us see another slide. Hatching. Yes. What is hatching, children? Hatching. There are two types of hatching over there. What is hatching first? Hatching means production of chicks from eggs is called as hatching. Traditionally, that hatching is done under a broody hen. the hen is placed on that eggs. That hen will be placed on that eggs, and after few days what will happen is we will get new chicks from that eggs. That process is called as hatching. Naturally, the eggs are kept under a broody hen, mother hen. So that mother hen will not move. What will happen to that eggs? Optimum temperature is given, that is around 37 or 38 degrees Celsius, and from that eggs new chicks will come. But now in many industries, in many poultry industries, incubators, machines are used. In those machines, the eggs are placed directly in that machines where that optimum temperature is given and artificially hatching is done. From the eggs we get chicks. This process is called as artificial hatching, children. And here the equipment is, machine used is called as incubator. So this is about poultry. This is about poultry. We get many products from poultry also. So we have to appreciate the poultry industry, and by poultry industry most of the unemployed people also are getting employment nowadays. So, and our government is also giving most opportunities for for doing this business of poultry. Now let us jump into another type, that is apiculture. What is apiculture, children? Observe the slide. Culture of honeybees is called as apiculture. Culture of honeybees or apis. What is apis? Apis is the genus name of a honeybee. So if you rear honeybees for their honey or other products, it is called as apiculture. My dear children, generally this honey is the most divine and nutritious food. This is honey is having most nutritional value. This honey is used in Ayurvedic medicine also. So now let us discuss about this apiculture. There are have you seen a beehive in your houses? I think most of you have seen beehives. Beehives. You can see in the slide also a beehive is shown. In that beehive there are 3 types of bees. In beehives there are how many types of bees, children? 3 types of bees. One is queen, one is a worker, one is a drone. Here queen is single. In any honeybee hive colony there is only one queen. It is a female one, and it lays around 800 to 1200 eggs per day. Next one is worker. It is a sterile female, and its lifespan is around 5 to 6 weeks, and it is sterile female. It is not capable to reproduction. It just does work. It collects nectar and pollen and many more works. And the next one is a drone. Drone. This fellow is a lazy fellow. This fellow is a male lazy fellow. He doesn't participate in any work. He just participates in mating with the queen. He just participates with the mating with the queen, and after the mating this drone will die. So this is the types of honey bees in a beehive. I hope you have understood. But nowadays, children, what is happening is that artificially apiculture is being done. So to produce much honey, what is being done means they are using artificial beehives. Artificial beehives. So artificial beehives means they are providing artificial chambers, entrance rod, and many other things to culture that honey. And it is also developing as a great industry. So let me tell you next one. What are the sources of nectar? Sources of nectar. So in order for honeybees to make honey, to produce honey, they have to collect nectar and pollen from the plants. So the bees like some plants. That plants are called as bee flora. For example, in your surroundings also, many trees and plants like citrus, tamarind, guava, ginger leaf, wheat, lady's finger, and many more vegetables, acacia, timber. These are all the good sources of nectar. So honeybees like that flowers. From that they will collect nectar and pollen. These are sources of nectar. And my dear children, these honeybees are wonderful social insects. They are social insects. They live in colonies. If you attack one member of that honeybee colony, the other members will attack you. And they are the best pollinators of the crops. But nowadays, because of the excess use of pesticides, these honeybees are being killed, children. So other uses of honey, already I told you, bee wax. Bee wax, which is produced from honeybee industry, it is used in making nail polishes, candles, creams, etc. And also bee venom, the poison of honey. The poison of honeybees is used in making homeopathic medicine, that is Apis tincture. Apis tincture is a homeopathic medicine which is made from the poison of the honeybees. So these are all the other uses of honeybee. Now I hope you have understood about this apiculture. Now let us But some more things are there. We have to protect these bees from other things. Sometimes what will happen, honeybees of other colony will rob this colony's honey. So we have to protect them. And some wasps, some robber flies, some kingfishers, these will, what they will do means they will damage the honey. So we have to protect, a beekeeper should protect this honeybee hives from all those animals, predators and pest children. Now let us discuss about fisheries, the last topic. Observe the slide, children. Fisheries. My dear children, fish also constitute most important high quality animal protein. It is having vitamins and it is having calcium, iodine, and it is consisting of omega fatty acids, which is very good for your brain. And these fishes are rare. You can see in the picture, there are many types of fishes. Basically, you can see two types of fishing in the slide. Traditional fishing. In olden days, they used to catch fishes by using nets and old instrument. But nowadays, what they are doing is fishermen catch tons of fish every day by using machines. By using machines, they will catch most number of fishes. So this is called as mechanized fishing. And nowadays, I have seen in my village, they are using current to catch the fish, and they are killing all the fishes which are present in the ponds and rivers. So this is not a good method. If we will go on taking all the fishes, there will be no time to regenerate for that fish, and the fish will be totally extinct. So we have to be careful while performing this mechanized fishing, children. My dear children, so fisheries also are having two types of fisheries are discussed. One is inland fishery and the other one is marine fishery. The fishes which are reared in sea and oceans are called as marine fisheries. Examples of these marine fisheries are fishes like tuna, catfish, ribbon fish, sardine, etc. And inland fisheries, the fishes which are reared in fresh waters such as rivers, reservoirs, ponds, etc. are called as inland fisheries. Examples of inland fisheries are cutlass, katrana, rohu, etc. These are all the inland freshwater fishes varieties. And this is about fishes, children. My dear children, these fishes are very much important for our health, and this is also an important industry now in our country and also in our state, children. So these fishes are highly perishable. They will spoil very fastly. So we have to preserve them. We have to pickle them. We have to dry them. We have to salt them. So these are all the preservative methods by which fish can be preserved. So these are all about animal husbandry. We have discussed about cattle rearing, we have discussed about poultry, we have discussed about apiculture, and last but not the least, we have discussed about fisheries. Now let us jump into the next slide. Summary. So the summary is given. Cattle farming is there, raising of cattle for their milk and meat,